Correcting common misinterpretations, false alarm number 10. This is when you wake up in panic and you're thinking, I've just been sleeping, I'm not thinking anything, there's nothing happening here, I must be seriously ill, there must be something seriously wrong with me. But the fact is 60% of people with panic disorder have this experience. And many people are even afraid of going to bed at night. I had this experience myself. I know exactly what it's like. The one reason has to do with physical changes that occur in the body as we let go into deep sleep or when we're waking up in the morning. And if you're already on high alert because of panic attacks, if these bodily sensations wake you up, you immediately misinterpret and catastrophize, and then you go into panic. You get caught in the cycle of fear. And the feared consequences of the sensations seem even worse at night or when you're jolted out of sleep. Because you think you were simply sleeping. You weren't even thinking anything. So if you're feeling this terrible, then there must be something seriously wrong. But just keep in mind this is a very common occurrence and it can't do you any harm. Now the key is to practice the skills you're about to learn in this book very quickly. That's the most important thing. Remember the cycle of fear. You feel the sensations and then you misinterpret and catastrophize. So if you can catch misinterpreting and catastrophizing as quickly as possible, that will reduce the cycle of fear. So when you learn the skills in the rest of this book, remember to put them into practice very quickly if you wake up and you experience this. Correcting common misinterpretations, false alarm number 11. These are very frightening symptoms of panic. Derealization and depersonalization. Now, derealization is a feeling that the world around you is unreal and unfamiliar. It's almost like it doesn't make any sense anymore. It doesn't feel right. There's something wrong with the rest of the world. Depersonalization is a feeling that you yourself are unreal in comparison to reality outside yourself. So it's almost like I don't fit in here. There's something wrong. There's something not quite right. And these are perhaps the most frightening symptoms of panic. It's bad enough when you think there's something wrong with your health, something wrong with your mind. But when you have to question your very existence, that is extremely frightening. And it's very hard for other people to understand this, so you can't really explain it to anyone, and that increases your sense of alienation. You feel you have to keep it to yourself. Fortunately, the actual reality is that this feeling is simply a temporary sensory overload caused by the escalating cycle of fear. And it's a very common experience with panic. You'll hear a lot of people with panic, this is their worst experience that they can have. So think about it. When people are in actual danger, you very often hear them say that it felt unreal, like time slowed down, and this is the fight or flight response, almost putting them into a different time frame so that they can deal with a dangerous situation in a different way. And if that happens, they know that that has happened because they were in danger and they don't worry about the feeling itself. But somebody with panic disorder, these feelings happen without any clear danger outside. So you again internalize it. You think there must be something wrong with me, or this feeling of unreality. It's true, there is something wrong. I don't fit in. Something's not quite right. So treat this feeling just like any other symptom of panic. That's the best way to treat it. And apply the skills that you're going to learn, particularly the mindfulness skills, because they will help you ground yourself back into the present moment. They're very, very useful in this area in particular. And you will soon lose this fear. It will pass eventually. Correcting common misinterpretations, false alarm number 12. Obsessional thoughts. Panic attacks generally involve fear of the consequences of the frightening bodily sensations produced by the fight or flight response. But the fight or flight response can also set your mind on high alert and on the lookout for danger. So you can find yourself actually worrying more, you're racing thoughts, you're obsessing about things, and you're even catastrophizing about everything. So it's helpful to observe that this too is a form of panic, and it's not simply the absolute truth about your experience, because people think panic is to do with physical sensations, but when they worry they think that's just me, this is who I am, I'm worried about everything now, my life will never be the same again. But if you see that this is still, you're getting caught in the cycle of fear, then you'll be able to do something about it. So Claire Weeks, in her book Self-Help for Your Nerves, describes these thoughts as tired thoughts in a tired mind, and I thought that was a wonderfully simple description. Tired thoughts in a tired mind. You're not going mad, this is not just who you are, they're just tired thoughts in a tired mind. It will pass. Page 33 is a very useful obsessional thoughts cycle. So within panic disorder, one of the fight or flight response symptoms can be that your mind is on high alert. Okay, if you're in danger, this is very helpful. You'll be looking out for danger, there'll be a sense of dread, you won't be able to concentrate, be agitated, you can't relax, you're worried, your mind's racing, so you're sort of waiting for something to happen. So it can be useful if you're in danger. But because there's no danger occurring, then you misinterpret and catastrophize. You worry that you're going mad, you worry that your life is falling apart, you worry that this is never going to stop, you're not going to be able to stop these thoughts. So then you attempt to block the thoughts, and unfortunately this increases your focus on the thoughts. So you're thinking, mind racing, you can't stop worrying, you're obsessing about things, and then you say, I've got to stop doing this. And the more you try to stop it, the more you focus on it. And this causes more thoughts to arise because you're actually adding worry to your worry. And this is when you panic. It's almost mental panic. And you get an overwhelming feeling of fear and panic about the thoughts. And when you have that overwhelming feeling, you increase your adrenaline, which kicks in more fight or flight symptoms. So you get caught back up in the cycle. So everyone who's in a state of anxiety encounters this to some degree. And if you find yourself suddenly overwhelmed with obsessional or catastrophic thinking, remember, catch it, check it, change it. So you say to yourself, right, so your mind's racing, you're obsessing about things, catastrophizing. You say, right, catch it. First of all, I'm having mental panic attack. I'm catastrophizing. These are just thoughts. Let them be. It's okay. This happens with panic. It's normal. If I wait, it will pass. So you don't have to start thinking about every thought that you're having and analyzing it and trying to fix it and change it. If you can see that this is you getting caught up in a cycle of fear, then you can step back slightly. Let it do its worst, refocus, and do the skills that you're about to learn in this book. Page 34. Obsessional thoughts, a very useful technique. Shift to observer mode. Now, have you ever caught yourself inwardly screaming when you're thinking obsessively? I wish these thoughts would stop. Why don't they stop? Why can't I stop thinking like this? I don't want to think like this anymore. This is driving me mad. Now think about it. Who is it that says that? Clearly a part of you must not be the thoughts if you can describe the thoughts, dislike the thoughts, want to get rid of the thoughts. So there's a part of you doesn't like them or want them. And that part is actually quite rational and doesn't want to be tormented by the thoughts. So imagine it's a bit like having a song stuck in your head. You're not the song, you're just observing that you can't get the song out of your head. So the next time you feel overwhelmed by disturbing or obsessional thoughts, shift to observer mode. So imagine that you're stepping back and you're observing the thoughts slightly in front of you or drifting by like clouds. So your mind is overwhelmed by thoughts and you're thinking, I can't stop thinking this, why am I thinking this? And then you try to change the thoughts, you try to analyze them. If you can, then catch that you're able to look at the thoughts. So just step back and let all the thought process be in front of you. And observe, you're thinking about that, you're thinking about this. You can't stop thinking, thoughts keep happening. They keep popping into your head, there's another one. And as you do that, you get a sense that there's a part of you is quite calm and collected in comparison to the jumbled up thoughts that are taking place. And if you hold yourself in that position of observer, gradually the thoughts will just calm down because you're not adding further misinterpretation and further catastrophization, and that will break the cycle of fear that is happening.